Okay, I hope this is working. I'd just like to tell you who we've got here sitting in the front, because as I explained, none of that would have been possible if people hadn't willingly shared their stories with me. So we have two of the women who I interviewed. So you might have a question to somebody to find out how it was to be interviewed for the project. And we've got Daniela here, and we've got Anna, and we also had another interviewee who is none other than Elio, because that's where it all started, when I discovered that this man, who I'd been told was from Venezuela, told me about Christmas carols. What's your favourite sound of home? Christmas carols, he said. We go into church and play big instruments, and I was imagining Away in a Manger with, you know, I mean, we don't really do that, do we? We're quite staid, but he's talking about the whole percussion section dancing into a church, and it went on from there. So, any questions that you have? Where's Emma?
I'm here.
Oh, she's there. Okay. So Emma's going to do that thing that, you know.
Okay, so this is my final job as part of this project, is to kind of, I don't know, audience question wrangle? Is that a thing? It is now. Okay. Any questions? Hands up, please. Oh, okay. We've got Sheila over there. Will is the actual microphone wrangler.
So you're like the presenter?
Yeah, the compare.
You... She's a
Hi.
dickhead.
First of all, just want to say congratulations. That was just absolutely brilliant. I just wanted to know what plans you've got for the future, for this piece and for the orchestra.
Well, I'm going to hand over to the orchestra person, because we have got plans, and Elio can tell you about them. I'll think about that piece question.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your hospitality tonight, for everything that you give us from your seats too. Well, the idea is that we want to connect more music around the village, around Corby, and connect that with kids, with families. I think it's a big gap in between the classical music and all the people, and it's our fault as a musician. We are doing that gap, because we are not doing this job, the beautiful job that Paula did tonight, which is helping you to understand what we feel when we play any instrument. The rest of the people doesn't understand that. For in fact, my wife, for example, she always say, I don't understand how you come for the job and you start playing again. Well, it's not, unfortunately, music is not our job. It's our life, and if we can be playing 24 hours, 7 days a week, we will. And the music drives us. Okay. Then the idea is to carry on with the orchestra and connect, doing a youth orchestra in Corby. Then all the kids be aware about that. And connect the big orchestra that we have now with the youth orchestra. And in that way, you will hear more about the classical music around Corby now.
I just wanted to add to that, we have one thing to do here. We haven't asked any of you if you would ever like to play together again.
Yes, please.
Yes, so...
Do you want to play A?
We can have all these grand plans, but unless you are willing to stay with us. You know, we're not writing this down. Would you mind standing up if you would be willing to play together again as a sound orchestra? Ali, okay, so we do have an orchestra. We were thinking of doing quite unusual things as well. As a composer, you know, I've sat listening to that stuff in my head for a couple of years, going slowly crazy. You need an orchestra. I borrowed an orchestra a few months ago. If anybody's been following the story, Peter Smalley, are you still here? The Northamptonshire Museum Performing Arts Trust. I just got in touch and said, can we borrow an orchestra? And he said, yes, come along to Grendon Hall. The county training orchestra there. So we went with Kerry, we had a great day, and we let a youth orchestra try that out. And there's so many stages that you have to go through before it's ready to be played. But that was one of the things that we did. So, you know, it's not quite as easy as we thought it was going to be. We've been talking together, the score and the conductor, for a year, on and off. That's how long it's taken. And then there's somebody else here, Anna Judge. Can you make yourself... Oh, she's going, nothing to do with me. This is Anna, who used to teach music at Our Lady. She now lives in Spain. But she's been coming backwards and forwards and being part of the process as well. She was going to be one of the other conductors tonight. So, you know, we're blessed with talent on this project. And I just hope we can keep it together. If there are other composers out there, Stuart Sweeney's here, unless he's gone home. Oh, he's gone home. I know I've met composers in Corby. I sat in a garage on Tower Hill Road with Stuart Sweeney and thought, pinch, is this real? Here's another composer. I mean, you know, this town's got people lying around under rocks, and I keep finding them. Jan Ellis, where are you? Jan Ellis, I found about 3 weeks ago. We have a Cuban in Corby, people. So there's loads more of you, and my favourite person I've just found, I looked out my window the other day, and there's two children who play together all the time, Samuel and what's the name? Is she still here? Maya, there we go. There they are, the family up there. They're my neighbours. Now, Maya and Samuel were playing the other day, and I thought, you know what? And I ran out with a leaflet and told them about it. Maya ran into her mum, who wants violin lessons. It's that easy. So we have a new violinist up there, people. That's how we grow orchestras. So you've got your conductor wanting to conduct. There may be other trainee conductors out there. We'd like to offer them the experience to come and learn from Elio, have a go at conducting, and also other composers to have their music tried out. Because have we enjoyed learning a new piece of music? Yes. There you go. So that's our plan. And also crazy concerts, because this man's also a heavy metal rocker. He does all sorts. So we're thinking Mozart to Metallica. So keep your eyes open.
Okay. Did I see a hand at the back? Yeah. Will?
Hi, thank you for a wonderful tapestry of sound, very evocative. My question is regarding compositional technique. What was the biggest challenge you encountered? Thank you.
It starts with S, and it's got Ibelius. And it says Sibelius. It was learning the software, because I had all of that in my head, but to convey that to other people in a way that they then understand what those scribbles mean in order to play it, I had no idea. Is Peter here? Peter Murphy here is my mentor this time round, and Camilla, is Camilla gone to get the train, all right? I'm also blessed with people in my history. Peter and I walked to Moscow in 1983. So we've known each other forever, but he orchestrates for the Czech Philharmonic. Now that's a good guy to know. So, you know, learning the 21st century way of doing it has been the biggest challenge. Putting the music together in my head was easy. And I kid you not, the composer, me, I don't know where she is. I said to Ellie, I don't know who wrote this, because any other artists out there, that creative moment, when it just happens, is instant. And then it's gone. The technique of grabbing it and making it stay and then turning it into something that other people can interpret is the challenge. Plus the fact that it made me understand the difference between people who, you know, like Anna's an artist, she'll create something and it's there, people can see it. It's in my head until you all join in and turn it into something that you can hear. So for anything to do with the performing arts, music or dance, anything like that, we've got it in our heads until other people are in the way. So compositionally, that was what it was. The rest was easy, Noel. You know yourself, there's all these wonderful colours to choose from. Choosing isn't my best thing, as some of you know. So I did get drowned in possibilities at times, which instrument to use, you know. But I think the tone colours of the tunes told me what to do in much the same way when I wrote Women of Steel, the play, the characters told me what to say. So, for instance, that I don't know what instrument any of you would have put it on, but I think it was absolutely the right instrument. So, you know, I think having it is easy, writing it's not.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? It could be for the orchestra. Oh, we've got hands up here at the back. And then to make it quicker, if the next person afterwards wants to put their hand up for a question.
Hi, Paula. What was the inspiration for the Indian drum? Worked very well.
A round of applause there for Mahesh, please. Well, that's an easy story and a quick one. I am fortunate to live on the international street of Epsom Walk on the international estate of Kingswood. And I walked out my door and bumped into Arthur Pereira, who's a Portuguese community safety officer, nipped round the corner to see Ashok and Bharti Natwani, who at this moment are taking Indian food to the Labour Club for us for afterwards, anybody who wants to come. It goes on, a couple of streets away, there's Adele and Carmen Ramirez, Chilean, and the link with Mahesh, he was one of my interviewees, because I went to speak to Ashok and he said, Paula, you've interviewed me for every play you've ever done, go talk to Mahesh. So I did. And Mahesh shared some wonderful music that was on when you came in, and the rhythms are fascinating. So that was where that came from. And then I talked to Kirti, our wonderful classical Indian singer, who, you wouldn't know this, but somewhere in Corby, and that's why I did that bit at the end, there's a garage that's been converted into her studio. So she invited me in, fed me beautiful curry to start off with, and then we sat on the floor and she got her harmonium out and she sang to me. And that's Corby. That's happening somewhere in a garage near you.
Okay, we've got one in the centre here.
Right, hopefully there is a DVD or CD coming out soon.
Is that Maria?
Yeah.
Hello, Maria.
Okay.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Okay, yes, indeed, we have. Martin Steed was taking a film of Elio so that he knows what he looks like when he's conducting. And Andy Ethorn has been up there all night filming the whole thing. But we have HD Media here this evening, who have done a fabulous sound recording, and they have trained several people whilst they've been here. Now, the one thing, Judy, I don't remember is the names apart from Carl.
We have
Oh, they're all up there, look.
Dave Elliott,
Hello, Elliot.
and then we have James Buckley sitting next to him.
James Buckley.
And
There
then
we
have
go.
Paul Balmer.
And they're being tutored by Paul Balmer, who's a BBC-trained sound engineer. So we've also got that going on tonight as well. Thank you for that. And it'll all be available. I didn't want you to do naff little phone recordings. Let's go for quality.
Yes.
Okay, Danny at the back there.
Hello. This was my first experience of a live orchestra and I was absolutely blown away, without a doubt. I cried my little heart out. If it wasn't for my relationship with Paula and Ali, I wouldn't be here. So it kind of relates back to the first question. How are you going to force this upon this town? Because they need this in their lives.
Well, I think musicians sometimes we forget that we want to show off what we know and what we understand, regardless if the people understand it or not. And that is the big gap that we have. Then what the idea is to do accessible music with the orchestra, because that Paula say about from Mozart to Metallica. You know Metallica. Everyone knows Metallica. Well, let's teach you a little bit of Mozart before Metallica. You know, then that is a good way that you say, I hear that in an advert, you know. Tarari, 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 tarari. I know that piece. I don't know where, but I know, I hear it somewhere. And then, yeah, okay, we have that. I think that is a good way to connect a little bit the people with the instruments. We have a problem with, for example, the kids. They start learning the violin, which is horrible in the beginning.
Is Eva Gray in the house? She's there. Eva, is it horrible in the beginning? No. Do we squeak? No. It's the teacher's fault.
And then what I find out is that they don't see the point to get all that hassle in the beginning. They say, well, why I'm doing this if I don't see anyone doing it? Then that's a connection that we have to do. We need us as musicians to go around and play for them, play for you, play for anyone that can hear and say, this you can do with the instruments, and this is the same music that you can do with the electric guitar or with the drums or with any other instrument. That is the way that we're going to try to get more people to know and to understand a little bit about the classical music.
Or a computer.
Or a computer. There is one other thing. For years, I've been trying to get Rutland Sinfonia. Many of the players here tonight have very kindly come over from Rutland Sinfonia. That orchestra used to be based at Corby Festival Hall, which Road Trout's here. You remember that, don't you? We had an acoustically perfect building. We used to have the Halley Orchestra. We used to have the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra regularly. It was no big deal. And when I was 14, I sat in the front row at the Halley Orchestra, and a bead of sweat fell upon me from the conductor, and that's what turned me into a violinist, I kid you not. Now, Coelho sprinkled that sweat. So, well, yes, that's thrown me a bit, actually. But wait a moment, there was a reason for that. Wait a moment. Yeah, what was the saying? It's a la 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 la. No, but before that, I've gone off piste here. The Willows, the Festival Hall, the la la la. Oh yes, forcing it on people. We didn't force it upon people those days. It's got to be there, and then people know about it. Build it, and they will come. This project is all about that.
Question for one of the interviewees or anybody in the orchestra. Sorry, people up the top there, you'll have to shout. Can you shout?
Yay!
Yes. Yeah, who's that with their hand up? Do you just shout for us?
You haven't got he's just showing.
I have a question for Yaneli.
Oi!
Yaneli, how it feels to play in an orchestra for first time ever?
That's Ecuador speaking, by the way.
I was say,
Ecuador was interviewed, there will be a piece.
amazing. I absolutely love it. I love you guys. I love you.
Anyone else for the orchestra?
Yes. Well, not for the orchestra. Hello, Paula.
Oh, hello,
and
Lillian.
congratulations on a fabulous evening, and the team and the musicians all behind you. But because I think everybody in Corby comes from somewhere else, I would like to ask Daniela and Anna their involvement in Sounds of Home for them.
It's not going to explode anymore.
Well, I'm from Poland originally, and I was asked by Paula to tell her about my experience of Polish music, my memories. And we had a wonderful, 2 hours. Well, the first thing that I mentioned was Frédéric Chopin, which a lot of people think was French, and who lived in Paris most of his life, so he was an emigrant, or he was an immigrant, in absolute exile for most of his life. And the pain of being in exile, and in his case, not being able to go back home, ever, shows in his music. Chopin's music also is influenced by Polish folk music, Polish waltzes and mazurkas, and that's what I talked to Paula about. And also I told Paula about a very obscure Polish composer, Stanisław Moniuszko, who is full of mazurs, which is a serious version of mazurka, and polonaises So Paula experienced also that composer's outpourings. And also Polish Christmas carols, because we also have beautiful Christmas carols. And well, it was a lovely chat, and I was really happy to hear Paula's Chopinesque waltz and Chopinesque mazurka, as I jokingly mentioned it to her and the orchestra. Well, it was a very good Chopin knockoff. So, congratulations.
Okay, first I want to say big thank you, Paula, for this, invite me for all this happening tonight. So happy to be here. I came from Serbia originally, and I live here almost 11 years. So I meet Paula first time on Penguin, where we start chat about my life here and everything about me. So first project what I do with Paula was about her, with the Corby Women Theatres group. So that is actually where everything started. Paula asked me about some music, characteristic music from Serbia. So I suggest her the Far Away, that's mean Tamo Daleko, the song. So, and I recognize lots of them on tonight. So I've been really, really happy and just can't explain the feelings, you know, what I feel and how I feel. So thank you again and big congratulations to all you guys here.
Can you tell them what we did this morning? What did we do at 10:30?
Yeah, we got the interview with the ITV. Yeah, so it was.
ITV News.
Yeah, we've been this, yeah, and I look them. I've been home, so we're sitting and wait. Can't believe that. So it was the lady from ITV, and we got some interview with her. So she was, you know, recording us and asking lots of questions, and then we got a little dance. Yeah. So it was really, really great experience. I hope so. We're gonna have lots of more of this. This is just the start, you know. Yeah. Okay. Thank you again.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes, down the front here.
It is a question for Paul. Oh. It's a question for Paula, and actually I know the answer, but I think it's really quite an important point, because we've been talking about this while we were working on the project, and at the end, the brilliant build-up and the majestic finale, and it all ended on a positive high note, brilliant. But so often during the piece, after you've built up to what we feel like is going to be an optimistic end, it sort of goes down again. And I was wondering if you would mind explaining to people what was in your mind, whether it had anything to do with a certain glorified opinion poll last year or something.
Okay, Peter, get it. All right. I don't know who's read the programme, but I will just tell you. The Waltz and Mazurka, as Anna said, it wasn't meant to be a Chopin knockoff. It was a piano piece, first of all, and then this woman, Anna, said, you have to orchestrate it. So Peter got me started, and before we knew it, it turned into the orchestral version. But then we had the EU referendum, and I watched the world I know begin to disintegrate. So I don't know if you remember that piece. Are any of the wind there? Could you just do the na, na, na bit? Yeah, they can. No, they'll do it without you, Elliot. We are redundant. They know their stuff. They do. Does anybody know the high notes? Put a few high notes in. The wrong bit at the end. What note did you have at the end, strings? That's it. That squeaky bit. Yeah. That's it. Thank you. That, for me, is the bobbing life jackets without the people in them. And it finished, if you remember, the sound stopped and we were just left with that one very high note. And I did say yesterday when they played it to me properly, I wanted the whole audience to feel the uncertainty that people who aren't living in their own homeland feel at the moment. And the wonder for me was that yesterday, instead of building a much trumpeted wall, we built an orchestra. And that's the way forward. Let's weave people together with music, hearts and minds, and forget what other people think we should be doing. So that's what it was about. I had to change the end, and it was a bit of a shock, because it finished with the rousing lub-de-dum-dee-dum-dum, something or other like that. And then the next time I'm not going to do it, because I buggered my knee up, didn't I? I'm still recovering. I did that in a school in Corby to demonstrate the mazurka, and did my knee in June. So I've only just recovered. But the thing about the Waltz and Mazurka is that they all thought it was happy, and then I sent it out to a few people. It was what's happened. But what's happened is serious, and there is a rise in racism. It isn't necessarily in this town. We know how to welcome people. But can I just ask everybody in this theatre tonight to get to know somebody from somewhere else and make them welcome? Because one day you're going to be somewhere and you're going to need to be welcomed. And if that's all we can do to begin to change that, that's what I would invite you to do.
And then we get to hear some more music. Okay, brilliant. In the middle here.
Will, by the way, was on a composition workshop in Tresham. He's a music student, and he offered to be our assistant stage manager. So thank you, Will.
How long did it take for the whole piece to be learned by everybody in the orchestra?
Sorry. How long did it take? Emma Jefferson, would you like to stand up? So, Emma, when did you get asked to play?
Last Sunday.
Karen Silverwood, would you like to stand up? Oh, she's gone. She's gone. She's gone because she lives beyond Markfield. She came today. Who else is a recent newcomer? Douglas, where are you? Are you still here? Would you like to stand up? Yeah. When did you hear about this?
About a week ago.
Somebody got ill. Douglas stood in. And we have somebody who actually... Boris, would you like to stand up? Boris, where did you come from?
From Serbia.
Okay. Boris came to stay with Daniela to play at the Breakers Bar. This dude does DJ fancy music on an electric violin normally. And she said, I've got a violinist staying, do you want to meet him? Well, he's still here, we're not letting him go, all right? I actually met him 2 weeks ago. So the weird thing is, as classical musicians, Walter on the front of the violas there was my piano teacher many years ago. Walter, I would like to acknowledge that you are the elder in the orchestra. Would you mind sharing how old you are?
Yes.
Well, let me put it this way, he's double Elio. However, we've also got Josh at the back. Josh, how old are you? 13. So we have from 13 to double Elio in this orchestra, okay? And most classical musicians are used to playing a concert. If we play at Rutland Sinfonia, like we did Beethoven's Fifth the other week, you do the day of the concert in the afternoon, you do it the night before, and then there's probably 1 or 2 Fridays before that. So we usually have about 3 weeks, and this is why the way the music school system works. We individually learn our parts at home, and then we come together, and the conductor has to bring it all together. How much we practice, who knows? I sent them all, before Christmas, the music and a MIDI to play along to, because if it's Beethoven, you just look it up on YouTube and play along. I don't know if they've ever listened to it, so it's a really personal question. Yes, it's going to remain that way. See those faces? Nobody's going to let on. But some people were basically sight reading, and that is the skill of the classical musician. Those notes, whoever's written them, and whatever they're trying to convey, we learn to read them accurately. And the technique is what Peter was helping me with, writing exactly what you want. There was a theme, la 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 da da dum, but it was also ta 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 tia ta ta. And those sorts of details, if you write them down properly, these amazing people just look at the dots and they do as they're told. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to say thank you to Emma, but if people did want to just chill afterwards, we're going to leave the theatre and go over to the Labour Club. That's a serious invitation.
There are some presents.
Oh.
Hello. We have some presents here for some very important people who have worked within this show and this production. So can I also have Michelle, the stage manager? Michelle? Here she comes. So Michelle is the stage manager and also the production manager, and she has worked very hard in this show, not only supporting others but supporting myself as the assistant stage manager. And here is a card and a bottle of...
Wow, thank you very much. Unexpected.
And Elio, we have something for you. We have a little book here. It's not only a book, it's something that everybody has signed, so you can keep the memories from this show. And of course, we cannot forget the most important person in this show, Paula. If you'd like to stand as well, please. This is also a little book that everyone has signed, so you can keep the memories from this show. And I'd just like to thank you, and I'm sure the orchestra would, for your lovely hard work and your dedication to this production.
Thank you very much.
On the subject of thank yous, I did have a list actually, but I've just left it backstage. I would like to thank Paula for the opportunity to be here and to help out. And we have a couple, so Kerry and Emma Louise, as we mentioned earlier, were great, so if you could pop up. And Will and Becky, who are hiding backstage somewhere. And Anna, thank you very much for your help with the catering and looking after us and feeding us, and the cheese. Introducing us to many different varieties of cheese. So thank you, Will. And that's for you. And thank you to everybody who has helped make this a great production. There's loads of people to mention. There's the photographers, the videographers, the artists. And to avoid missing somebody, I have to go thank you all. And to you guys for coming, and to the orchestra for playing something very beautiful. Thank you. Before I forget, feedback is greatly received. On the Sounds of Home Facebook page, which I'm sure you've all liked, I will be sending out a Survey Monkey, possibly Tuesday, for anything you have. Obviously, contact me or Becky, or just drop us a line, or catch Paula. And thank you very much. Well, I think that's definitely it now from me.
And there's only other one thing to do. I would like to join the Sounds of Home Orchestra, if they'll have me. So, any offers? Thank you, Sue.
You might write a thing, but it doesn't mean you can play it. But I do believe you should never ask people to do what you're not willing to do yourself.
Paula, does that mean you do this then?
Please feel free to dance.